Well, thank you for tuning into TTV. I'm your host, Toya, and today is Communion Sunday, where I actually go over a meal with you and why whatever it is that I'm cooking or putting together is good for you and what's in it. So I do apologize for my transitions, you guys. It hasn't transitioned yet because I just let the dogs out, but I'm going to take them off in a minute. But today's topic of discussion is this little guy right here. So this is a Brussels sprout. Now, the information that I'm providing today is not approved by the FDA. It's not intended to cure, treat, or diagnose this condition. And you do want to consult. You do want to consult your physician before you increase your intake or use them as a supplement. Anything that I discuss in this video today. All right. So I got the disclaimer out the way. Now, Brussels sprouts. I don't know about you guys, but when I was a kid, Brussels sprouts stunk and they were horrible tasting. And I don't know if you experienced the same thing, but that's what happened to me when I was a kid. And it wasn't until I got older that I actually experienced cooking them myself and finding out they're quite delicious. And one of the reasons that they taste so bad is a lot of people don't know how to cook them. They sit back and they boil these. Brussels sprouts are not intended to be boiled, okay? Do not boil them, okay? That was what makes them bitter and nasty and disgusting and mushy. So you do not want to boil them, okay? So I'm going to go over how I make them and actually give you a different tip on how you can do it as well. But I'm going to show you how I put them together. But just a little background information on the Brussels sprout itself. It is rich in vitamin C and vitamin K. And because of that, if you are on blood thinners, you want to be careful with your intake of Brussels sprouts. It's not something you want to have every day. As far as how often you can have it, again, that's something you want to discuss with your physician. And how much vitamin K and vitamin A that you can intake in a day. It does contain a lot of calcium, iron, and potassium. There's actually something in this little guy right here that will actually help to prevent damage to your DNA. And if you prevent damage to your DNA, it reduces your chances for getting cancer. Also, it has mechanisms in it, or enzymes, minerals, whatever, in it that can help regulate your blood pressure, your cholesterol levels, and even help you with your diabetes. It contains keratin, which is really good for your eyes. Another one you want to be careful of is if you have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. These little guys can irritate that, so you might want to lay off of them if that's one of your conditions. I will put the link in below, the resource to the WebMD site where I get my information from. It'll be in the link below for these little guys. So let's get started on how I cook them up. So they have a stem on the end. I don't know if you can see that. Trying to wait to see if it's going to focus. Focus. There we go. So there's a little stem on the end of it. Sometimes you can cut them off if you want to. Me personally, I don't worry about it that much. Here, I'm pull this up. I don't really worry about it that much. But if you worried about it, you can take it off. Now, this is a whole bag of them. These I actually got from Aldi because they come in a nice bag. They're really good and clean. Although I did clean them myself, which is why they're in this bag. I'm not going to cook this whole bag of it, but I do want to do enough of it to show you and to have for my breakfast. Because this is going to be my breakfast. But when you cook them right, they are absolutely delicious. Okay? So what I like to do is I cut them in quarters. So cut them in half, and then you cut them again. Now there's a little line here, if you can see it. I know this camera is tricky with the light. But anyway, there's a little line that goes through it, kind of like it does on actual cabbage. And you want to cut down that line. That way it'll keep the layers together. But just cut them up in quarters. And don't cut yourself. Because nobody wants to go to the hospital, especially right after Christmas. I'm just getting these cut up. I hope everybody had a good holiday, had a good Christmas. And if you did, put in below what made it so beautiful. Did you get to spend time with your family? Was it a friend Christmas where just you and some friends got together? Did you luckily get to go out of town for your Christmas. If you did, I'm jealous, but it's okay. I still love you. I'm not gonna hold it against you. um, but yeah, tell me what it is you did for Christmas in the comments below, because I would love to know how yours was. All right, so we almost done. And y'all saw I didn't have that many to begin with, but when you go to cut it up, you'll see. Oh, this one is a little different. That's my special Brussels sprout. And then these little guys, because they're so small, I'm just going to cut them in half. All right. So you see that wasn't very much, but I have a whole bowl full. Now, it's very easy on how you're going to season these. So you do need a little bit of oil. I like avocado oil because that's what this is. So avocado oil is a high temperature oil. It's one that can tolerate being in high heats without, I think it's up to 400 degrees, something like that, before it becomes a bad for you oil and turns into a trans fat. So I like to use the avocado oil for that reason. Some people use olive oil, which is fine. You can use olive oil on something like this because it's not going to be that high of a heat, and we're really just going to saute. Okay, so just get it a quick mix. Okay, now I have garlic, just some garlic powder. You can use real garlic if you want. I'm like Tabitha Brown, I like garlic, so if you don't like garlic like I do, then don't include it or don't use as much. That's up to you. That's your business, like she says. But garlic is really good for your health. It has things in it. It's something in the garlic that will actually break down the mucus in your body. And like if you have a cold or something and you eat something that's really garlicky, especially if it's something fresh like a fattoush salad, which is a Mediterranean salad, they put fresh garlic in there. And if you have something like that during a cold or something, it will actually help loosen all of that up. It's even it's one of two things that you can even add to your green drinks, which is either lemon or you can add garlic, especially if you're getting over a cold or something like that. You can just throw a raw piece of garlic into your green drink and it'll help break up the congestion in your chest. So I love garlic. I love the way it tastes and I love what it does for the body. This is just some Mrs. Dash, so there's no salt in it, and it's just a combination of different seasonings. So I like to put this in here. It is a little spicy. For whatever reason, I don't know, because I looked at the ingredients and I don't see what's making it spicy. They got black pepper, celery seeds, basil, thyme, oregano. Oh, they do have cayenne pepper in here. That would make it. Y'all know cayenne pepper is my favorite herb. I told y'all about that in one of the other videos, but that's my favorite herb. This is onion powder. Just like garlic will help break up mucus in your body, so will onions. So it's a good addition. I know it's got black pepper in the Mrs. Dash, but I'm still going to add some because I like black pepper. You can add whatever seasonings you like. And then this is where we come to the salt part. So if you're trying to cut back on your salt intake, but you still want to add a little flavor, you can add some Bragg's amino acids or some soy sauce. Hopefully, I would suggest a low sodium soy sauce that to add to it. I'm sorry guys for a second, I thought it wasn't recording, but yeah, so a low sodium soy sauce or what they call it, tamarind. I think it's called tamarind. It's a different type of soy sauce. I think it's the one that's unprocessed. Or even coconut aminos, which would be fine in here. Coconut aminos are a little sweeter, but with the Brussels sprouts, that sweetness is okay. But so you can even use coconut aminos in something like this. The aminos, the Bragg's amino acid, liquid amino acids, I like to use because it's basically a soy sauce, but it's high in the aminos, which are the ones that help your body produce the proteins and break them down. So that's what I'm going to be using. This is the Himalayan salt or pink salt. It has a lot of minerals and things in it, so I use that normally in my cooking if I'm going to add salt. But today I actually like the flavor that the soy sauce brings to the amino acids. And I don't normally use anything with soy in it because it can disrupt your reproductive system. But I think because this is fermented, because that's what soy sauce is. It's fermented soybeans. It's a long process that takes like over a year. But I think because this is fermented, I don't have the same reactions to it as I do with normal soy products. So for me, and I know this, y'all, some of y'all might be thinking, "Toy, that's a little TMI," but whatever. So for me, what happened was, is there was a time when I kept having abnormal bleeding with my menstruation, and it got to the point where I ended up going to the doctor wondering if something was wrong. And they did tests, they did ultrasounds, they couldn't find anything that was wrong. And I said, okay, well, if it's nothing physically that they can show that has changed or is wrong that's causing this additional bleeding, then maybe I need to look at what it is that I've been eating. And so for the most part, I'm not gonna tell y'all I'm 100% vegan. I told y'all this before. I am not 100% vegan. So if you see me eating something out at a restaurant or something, don't. I thought you was vegan. I am not 100% vegan. Okay, I'm probably about 95. Okay, if you had to put a percentage to it, it's probably 95. For the most part, at home, everything I cook and eat in my house is about 95% vegan, outside of some seafood that I eat. But outside of that, in the house, I'm primarily vegan. If I go out with friends or something, you might see me eat something, with cheese in it, even though I try not to, because it gets me really, really congested really bad, really quick too. And it's really not, the dairy isn't really good for you. So I do try to maintain as much as I can when I go out, but sometimes it's not always possible. Or sometimes I just don't feel like it. Okay, I just don't feel like it. I might be in a mood where I want something that's not good for me. Okay, because that's the way I'm feeling, and it's okay. It's okay. You can't let titles define you. You can't let other people define who you are. You do what is best for you. Okay. So like I said, I was having those issues because primarily vegan in my house, but I was eating these sausage, this vegan sausage that Kroger has. It's their Simply Truth vegan sausage. It tastes really, really good. I really enjoyed it, but it was made out of soy. And I went from eating it like maybe once a month to almost every day. And that was when I noticed a change in my menstruation. So once I cut that out and went back to just, once a month until it was gone, and just eggs and stuff like that, they have soy in it. So once I went back to cutting that out, or just decreasing it to just once or twice a month, then my menstruation went back to normal, and I no longer had the abnormal bleeding. So I try to watch my soy intake. But again, soy sauce, and the only reason I think it's okay is because, one, I don't use a whole lot of it, and two, it is fermented. So I think that's why I'm okay with this. So I like the flavor of it, and this is what I'm using in place of salt. And I do it quite often, and my family doesn't. Well, they didn't know it to begin with when I first started doing it, but they know it now. That's what I use to cook my Brussels sprouts, and even sometimes I put it in my greens. Sometimes a lot of the vegetables I cook with, I actually use the Bragg's amino acids. I know I don't get paid for none of this. I'm not sponsored for anybody. This is just me telling you what I do. So I'm gonna put some amino acids in there, and like I said, you can use salt if you want. Just watch your salt intake, okay? Especially us people of color, because we use too much salt. So I'm just mixing this up. All right. Good. All right. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and get to cooking. Let me turn this on. All right. And bring you guys closer. Whoops. So you can see. All right. All right, now we can hear the pan sizzling. Let's bring you in here. So you're just gonna wait till this get hot. I really don't like using a whole lot of oil, but this is one of them things you don't want it to stick. Or actually, y'all, look at me. I've been in this house how long, and I done put the pan on the wrong one. Alright, so we're going to do a last minute change up. I'm going to use this pan instead because it's smaller. And I'm going to do the front and not the back. Because I was wondering why the back, I was hearing the tea kettle going off. Like, why is that going off? Okay, so this is supposed to be a non-stick pan, but it's not that great. I don't know if y'all can tell the discoloration in the pan a little bit. So just for that reason, I'm just going to add a little bit of oil, not a lot, because I've already put oil on the actual Brussels sprouts. I just don't want this sticking. So we're going to wait till this pan get a little hotter. And y'all going to find out, because I'm not editing any of this out. So you're going to find out exactly how quick it is to make this. It's not that, it doesn't take that long. Just want to move this around because, like I said, I don't want it to stick, even though this is supposed to be a non-stick pan. If y'all know of a really good non-stick pan, let me know, because this was supposed to be good. I looked it up and everything, and it was supposed to be good. I looked it up on what is that, Consumers Report. So Consumers reported this one wrong. Okay, so these are the Brussels sprouts. You can also do this. There's a couple other ways you can cook Brussels sprouts. I'm just going to saute these. But another way you can do it is you can roast them in the oven, which would be basically season them the exact same way as I did just now, except for you're going to cook them in the oven, about 350 to 400 degrees. I would say probably about 400, 450, just so that you can get it to where it's nice and crisp. And it doesn't have to be done for that long. You can just put them in there for about 10, 15 minutes and, you know, halfway through, flip them over, and that should be long enough. Another way you can cook them is, again, doing the exact same thing I did, except for throw it in the air fryer. So you can throw it in the air fryer and let the air fryer cook it. Another way you can do it is, again, you can season it the exact same way. But you can also put it in a steamer. So you can put it in a bowl, you know, have your pot, put your colander in there and steam them. And then maybe season them when you take them out. If you do steam them, again, do not leave them in there too long. Because if it's in there too long, they're going to get bitter and nasty. Okay? And all you really want them to do is just soften up. So I don't know if y'all can see this already where it's sticking to my pan. But I'm not going to worry about it because I got a method for that. I got a trick for y'all. And it actually will help soften them and get that seasoning off. So we're just going to cook them. Like I said, they don't have to be cooked for very long. And then once you get used to cooking them and how you cook them, oh my God, you can change it up. You can do the same seasonings that I put on there, throw them in the oven, and put some Parmesan cheese on top of them if you eat cheese. I don't. I would use like a vegan cheese, but you can, you know, put the cheese on top of it. Another way you can do them is you can spice them up and put some cayenne pepper or some Mexican seasonings or something like that on here. Another way you can do it is you can create put a little bit of water. That's my trick, y'all. It'll help to steam them and get them seasonings off. But another trick is like I said, you can, what was I saying? Oh, the balsamic vinegar and that pepper got to my throat, y'all. Balsamic vinegar and maple syrup or honey. You can put a little dressing like that together. I actually think I have some in the refrigerator, so let me show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is some that I've made. As you can tell, it's not a lot in there. So we just gonna mix this up. Now, first of all, this is delicious just like this. I'm telling y'all, it's delicious just like this. Let me get one of these. You can even eat these raw. So that is cooked perfect. It still has a crunch to it. It's tender. So this is cooked perfect. Like I said, you can also eat these raw. I just added a little bit of water to it. But you can eat these raw by shredding them up and then throwing them in your salad or in a soup. Or it's a vegetable mix that I make where I shred them and I mix them with some different kales and mushrooms and peppers and garlic and onions and all that goodness. Okay? So let's get a plate for this. But yeah, I take that mixture and I put that on my sandwiches. I mix it into my pumpkin seed scramble, which is actually pumpkin seed and chickpea scramble, I should say. And put it on my sandwiches. I put it on top of grits. I do a lot with it. All right, so let's take a look. So this is what they look like. All steamy and hot. Looking good. All right, so let's dig in. Because ain't nothing like seeing somebody eat the food that they cook, right? So you know ain't nothing wrong with it. Because if a cook won't eat their own food, then something ain't right with it, y'all. Ooh, about to lose my glasses, y'all. About to lose my glasses. Okay, so y'all can see that I'm actually eating. See that? Can y'all see that? Delicious. But I add seasoning to it. This is delicious, y'all. Look at that. Look at that. This is so good. Wish y'all can be here to taste it. But that's my Brussels sprout recipe to y'all. You see, I cooked it the whole time while I was on this thing. I didn't edit anything out. You can see it doesn't take very long. You don't need a lot of ingredients to it. You can use whatever it is you have in your cabinet. Whatever it is that you like. And you can cook it and enjoy. Because again, it doesn't take long to cook. And it's very delicious. Thanksgiving, I made some similar Brussels sprouts. And took them to the family for Thanksgiving. And I got cussed out because I didn't bring enough. So, it's a popular thing with my family. As far as me making the Brussels sprouts and bringing them. Because, again, they are delicious. Especially if you learn how to cook them. They don't have to be stinky. They don't have to be nasty. They can be actually quite delicious. So, give the recipe a try. And let me know what you think. And let me know if you tried it. Tag me on Instagram with it. Because I would love to see your version of it. I know some people put bacon in there. So they'll cut up some bacon and bacon bits in it and put in there. Like I said, Parmesan cheese. I try to keep it with all the vegetables. So I'll put the peppers, mushrooms, kale, chard, whatever it is I have. I'll shred this and put it in there with it. And use that throughout the week. Like I said, we put it in everything. I'll make that mixture and just on a Sunday, put it in the refrigerator and we'll use it throughout the week and put it in pastas. We put it in grits. I put it in my sandwiches. I put it in a lot of stuff. So I have really learned to really love Brussels sprouts, and it was really nice learning and doing this for you guys that I had no idea that there was something in the Brussels sprout that could actually help repair your DNA. So in eating it, this delicious Brussels sprout, I'm actually helping my body with fighting off cancer and keeping the DNA structure intact. So what a delicious way to do that, right? So like I said, try the recipe out. Let me know what you think. And I love you guys, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.